Good afternoon. So, for the longest time, I was trying to get my hands on volumes 19 through 21 for One Piece. I couldn't get my hands on it, I couldn't find it, but I finally realized that I was able to ask the library this whole time if they could order it for me so I could read it. They ordered it in, they shipped it in, and I finally read it. It was really good. I'm so happy that I'm finally able to get back into One Piece, and now that they were able to order all of those, I was able to order the rest for volumes 30. And I'm going to go ahead and finish reading that, but I did want the last video that I uploaded, want it to be volumes 1 through 20, but it took me so long to get my hands on this one that it's just been such a long time that I've started reading One Piece again, and so I kind of feel like there's like a little bit of like an emotional gap between it, if that makes sense, because like I was really into it and then I stopped for such a long time, had a huge break, and I think I'm kind of like, the memory isn't as fresh in the story. I think I want to start making my videos closer to one another, so each time I start like finishing volumes, I want to make like a review about it and a summary about it and not wait so long. So I don't want to do the video only through 20 through 30 or 1 through 20. I think maybe like every 3 volumes I can start making a video about. I want to kind of recap the middle of 16 through 18, because when I made the last video, I did not finish the volumes. So Tony Chopper had just left his town. Now they're on their way to Alabasta. Princess Vivi gives us a summary of the lists of the different agents in Baroque Works. So the president is Mr. Zero, who is accompanied with Miss All Sunday. After that, it's Mr. 1, who's known as Miss Doublefinger, then Mr. 2, who's known as Bon Clay, Mr. 3, who's accompanied with Miss Golden Week, which they had already fought together. They had already fought with Luffy's crew, and they thought they eliminated the crew, or that's what they wanted to tell Mr. Crocodile, but they did not get away with it. And in that event of fighting, what's his name? Okay, well, he's known as Mr. Snail now, and I'm talking about, I'm talking about Sanji! Sanji, he's known as Mr. Snail for Crocodile. He talked with Mr. Crocodile over the phone while Luffy's crew was fighting with Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week. After that is Mr. 4, Miss Merry Christmas, then Mr. 5, and Miss Valentine. Then the billions of 200 agents that are officer agents underlining is Mr. 6 with Mrs. Mother's Day, Mr. 7 with Mrs. Father's Day, Mr. 8, Miss Monday, Mr. 9, Miss Wednesday, Mr. 10, Miss Tuesday, Mr. 11, Miss Thursday, Mr. 12, Miss Saturday, and under that, which is accompanied with millions of 1,800 agents, form tier agents underlining as Miss 13 and Mr. Friday. That's the criminal organization known as Baroque Works. So, most of the agents have been eliminated, actually. I believe now we are only left with Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week and going up. And actually, Miss Valentine is Miss Vivi. She was undercover. She was trying to get to know the ins and outs of the Baroque Works so that she could help out her kingdom, Alabasta. And in this volume, we get to know a little bit about Crocodile. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we meet Ace, which is Luffy's older brother. He looks so much like Luffy, just, I don't know, a bigger version, more muscular. I don't know if I would say necessarily more mature, but he has his own style. He's a little different, but you know, he still has character, and he's a very strong man. He has made it, he is quite the pirate. And throughout these whole volumes, all the way up until the volumes 19 through 21, on chapter 172, we've been having two stories. So we've been having our story that's going on, and then we also have our stories that go on in each chapter. So on each chapter, it's been telling about what's been going on with the military and the Marines and Mr. Django and the boy that we met with Luffy in the very beginning of the chapters, who wanted to join the Marines, but he was too scared, but you know, Luffy gave him the confidence to want to join the Marines. So that finally ended on chapter 172, and now we just have pictures in each chapter so far in volume 19 through 21. If another story starts to appear, I will talk about that. I love all the coloring pages that have been showing up in all the volumes. I want to print them off so bad so I can color them and just, you know, put them up in my room or something. I just don't know how well it would come out in the printer, just because these books are so thick, and printers usually capture like the darkness, you know, so I just feel like half of the page will be dark if I print it off like in a scanner. I don't know, we'll see though. I will try it out, and depending on how it goes, I will let you know. And recently I was actually talking to a customer about it who kind of confirmed this for me because I read that Shonen Jump actually has all of the volumes and you're able to read them online. They have an app now where you can read all of the chapters and all of the volumes online. I just don't think they have the question corner. And if they don't have the question corner, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have the coloring book pages either, which I enjoy both of them a lot. Because the question corner gives you so much like insight and information about kind of like, you know, other questions or things that you wouldn't even think about, you know, or just fun facts, you know, and I really enjoy that. Right now, I cannot think of a good question corner at the top of my head that I would like to mention in this video, but if I do remember, I will add it in the next video I make. So yes, we finally meet Ace, who is the 2nd Division commander of the Whitebeard's Pirates. He has been looking for Luffy for a long time. He even went to the island where we meet Tony Chopper. He couldn't find him. Then he went to this island where they just landed at in, I don't think it's Alabasta, or it might be a part of Alabasta, I can't remember. And yes, we finally meet him, and actually Luffy and his gang got into trouble, but it was mainly Luffy. He ran into the officer, what's his name? This guy. Can't remember his name. Right now at the top of my head. He finds Mr. Ace, and he's trying to get Mr. Ace to give himself up. Of course, he's not going to do that. And Luffy runs into the whole situation too. But Luffy is kind of able to get away because of Ace. I think Ace helps him out, which is really great. And we find out that Ronanana Zolo cannot fight Captain Smoker's, that's his name, Captain Smoker's assistant. And she is a swordsman fighter. She's not a swordsman, she's a swordswoman fighter. And she reminds Ronan Ozola a lot of the woman that he used to fight with a lot growing up, who was also like a swords fighter. Should I say swordsman or swordswoman? She was a swordswoman fighter. And she reminds him of her too much, and it kind of goes back deep into his story, which drives him to fight, because she passed away and he had promised her that he would become the best swordsman fighter. And actually, in the volumes 19 through 21, when he is fighting one of the agents who is a swords person, like literally each part of his limb is a sword. And he could not beat him because it was trying to break steel. And then it goes back to a memory whenever he was talking to his master, when it was talking about, you know what, no matter what, a swordsman cannot become good if they do not believe in themselves. And I was saying, but a swordsman who believes in himself can slice through anything because he believes in himself. And when he was receiving that memory, like literally everything just got like super quiet. He got into Zen, and I just thought that part was super awesome because, I don't know, it was almost as he could like hear anything, like even the heartbeat, or like he was one with everything, with the trees, with the air, with the soil, with the water, you know. And then he was able to beat that guy, the guy who he thought he wasn't going to be able to beat. And Nami has been having the hardest time when she gets into a tough situation fighting off people. So she asks Usopp if he could make her a weapon. And he did. And at first she didn't read the whole manual and she was having a super hard time. And she kept getting like all of these joke moves because he made it into a multi-purposeful weapon. And, you know, it wouldn't be a weapon that Usopp had made if it didn't, you know, come with quirky tricks and jokes. Because that's the kind of person Usopp is. He tells, you know, tall tales, he's a funny guy, and he just tricks you, you know? So he's able to make this weapon for Nami that pretty much allows her to bend the elements, which is super cool because we all know that she's a navigator and she's really good with elements. She could be in one place and then she could feel the air in her bones, knowing that there is like a big thunderstorm coming up. Have you guys ever been just driving and you guys, you know, drive through a really clear area and then all of a sudden it gets super foggy? Or like, have you guys ever seen the maps where it's like, you know, it starts off with one little tiny circle, then a bigger circle, and a bigger circle, and it's showing you the different zones and areas? Nami is just able to feel all of that when she's coming through like different areas, and she's able to predict like the different kind of zones just by, you know, feeling it, because she's a great navigator. And she's able to use the elements to the best of her ability to trick the people who she's competing with and beat them. So I thought that was a really cool part to see, and I can't wait to see more fights that she gets into and how she goes about them and how she wins, because what new things she can make, because literally she was able to even play with the elements to where like she could make hallucinations for other people, thinking that she was in one part of the room when she was actually in the other part of the room. So they thought they killed her, but they didn't. And she was able to do a surprise attack. So that was really great. But at first she was really struggling and I thought she was going to die. But of course, I don't think Sensei Oda would do that to her. Luffy also almost died when he was fighting Mr. Crocodile. And, you know, of course Sensei Oda wouldn't let him die because he's our main character. But Crocodile's assistant helped him out, which I thought was really weird because he was about to die and she pulled him out and she asked him, "What do you fight for?" What do you fight for? Everybody literally right now thinks that Luffy is dead. There's only one person who knows that Luffy isn't dead, and that is Crocodile's assistant. Crocodile is like the president of all of the agents. So why would she help him? I don't know. I can't wait to find that out. Let's kind of get back into this one. And also another part that I liked was whenever in a different time, this is going back, you gotta keep up with me. I go back and forth sometimes in my conversations, and this is even just me as a person. If you knew me, you know I go back and forth all the time. Luffy was about to die, and he completely accepted it, and he was excited about it. There's a lot of moments where Luffy's about to die, and Captain Smoker was like, you know what, that's so weird. I haven't seen anybody accept their death in such a long time, and he had a memory of it, and it shows us. But you know, he didn't die because he completely accepted his death. Anyway, so whenever they get to Alabasta, Captain Chopper is stuck with Luffy's crew, a part of Luffy's crew, not everybody. And Luffy all of a sudden starts to feel really weak in this prison because they get caught. And he thinks it's so weird. And I think Captain Smoker also has a part of one of the devil fruits in him. But apparently in this prison they had a stone that contained the elements of water. So if it was contained in the middle of that building, whoever possessed the powers from the devil fruit, which Luffy has Gum Devil Fruit, he ate that whenever he was a young kid, everybody knows that. He was really into One Piece, at least, you know. If you're not into One Piece, then you don't know it. And he feels really weak, and I just thought, that was crazy. You know, I used to be not like a huge Avengers fan, and I wouldn't say like I'm a fan anymore, but I'm aware of the Avengers. I watch them. I think some of the Avenger movies, they have cool parts, and it reminded me of the glove that's, what's his name? I want to say it's Thor. No, it's not Thor. I forget his name, but he has the Infinity Stones. It reminded me of that. But I think it's cool how, you know, the creators of One Piece, you know, added that to the manga to where, like, the people with devil fruit powers, you know, they can have a weakness. You know, if you fall into water, that's your weakness, you know? Right. And if you're around a stone that contains that element, and you're in a prison of it, because there is a prison made for people who have possession of the devil fruit and who are wanted by the Marines. And that prison contains that stone, so whoever's in that prison is not able to escape. So, you know, I thought that was really cool. And, you know, and I think I'm going to end on that note. You know, there's a lot of cool parts. I was actually kind of worried that we were going to come up to, like, you know, maybe boring parts of the manga, especially with Tony Chopper's story. After that, I was like, what if after this it's, like, no longer interesting, but it's still good. And also, whenever we're getting to the island, I thought, is this where it starts to go downhill? Because, you know, now we know everybody's story, but nope. It is still good. And, you know, right now they're at Alabasta, and Princess Vivi is pretty much trying to stop the whole war in Alabasta because she doesn't want anything to happen to her people, because, you know, she's a great leader. And what else? So far, all of Luffy's crew has been winning against all of the people that he's been fighting. I like how Oda Sensei does that, how he pretty much makes it into a game like round 1, Sanji versus number 3. That's his name, number 3. I can't remember the other name he goes by. But, so yeah, I think that's cool. And I also like how he makes maps. So like whenever we're moving around the areas and whatnot, we know where we're going. I think that's a good thing to add. And he's been making really good fights, you know? He hasn't just been giving, you know, Luffy's team the red carpet of them, you know, like going by it super easily. You know, he gives them a fight. He still adds like a bunch of emotion. And I really liked Usopp's fight too, where like he pretty much uses lies to his advantage to win people, you know. Makes people think that, you know, he knocked someone out and whatnot, but he didn't. Because of lies. Like there was one part of his fight where he made someone think that he just slammed a 5-ton hammer on someone's head, but it was literally just fake. But with that, I'm going to end, and I am out. Peace out, Girl Scout.